How's it going, everybody? Just a real quick reminder here before the video starts. I get a lot of questions about stuff that I have in Lucky and items that I use during my van life. And a lot of people are actually asking me if I could create a link for them for specific products. So I've actually gone ahead and I've created an entire Amazon storefront. The link is in the description and my link section here. You can find it multiple places. If you see something on the channel that you like, chances are it came from Amazon. Obviously, there's a few niche items that didn't, but the majority of things absolutely did. So if you see something you like, go on over to that storefront. And I have to disclose that if you do use those links to purchase something, I will more than likely get a kickback, which is great. Win-win for everybody, right? All right, enjoy the video. Talk to you guys soon. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I really need to take out stock in Tylenol, at least before my surgery date. It's getting a little ridiculous. Decided to go with the economy size. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's morning hair. Welcome to my morning jaunt through Walmart. It happens more often than you would think. If I grab an item and then I have to go to the washroom, I usually just ditch the item on a shelf, then come back here, take care of business, and then it's a little bit. Yes. Is it big enough? I don't particularly want a large one. So I was going through my cupboards last night in Lucky, and I've got some, well, let's say, excess clothes. I've been meaning to sort of talk about this for a while. I've got a little bit of a problem, a little bit of an obsessive habit when it comes to things I like. When I find something, I usually latch on and I go a little overboard. So Lucky, I've definitely sort of run out of space, and I'm not quite ready to get rid of everything yet, because I am human, but we're going to expunge a bunch from the cupboards and put it in storage just to free up some space and give me some peace of mind in the tiny home on wheels. That's step one. Well, actually, step one. Thank you so much. Have a good one. You as well. Step one. Now the question is how long can I walk like this for? Don't mind me. Just purchasing a box first thing in the morning. Ah, yes. Poop bucket in the way. Story of my life. So we will get back to that in a minute. I am still house sitting, so I got to get up there and feed the little fur baby. Then we'll do some organizing. Just have to get that window covering on. Good morning, Penny. Just had a whole thing where I spilled my coffee. Actually, she spilled my coffee when she was jumping up onto the dashboard, but not her fault. Wasn't enough room to make it around the coffee cup, and it went, there's another reason why we need to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Come on, Lucky. There are no words. Oh, but if you did watch my last video, I will just say when it came to that whole camp chair situation, the company did write me back fairly quickly, like the next morning, and somebody new that I hadn't spoken to, still with almost just as much broken English as before, but they offered me their updated chair. I guess what the one I had purchased was their old model. No shit, you have a new one, considering 2 of them were broken. But anyways, they've offered to send me that. The snow will probably be flying by the time it gets here, but I don't know, maybe I should have pushed for a refund, but at the end of the day, I do want a chair, and it looks like it could be comfortable if it would just work. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my last video near the end there. That's just a quick update on that situation since I made just a little bit of a big deal about it. Okay, so, if you've been around my channel for a while, it's pretty obvious that I'm a big fan of the company Dixon, more specifically Dixon Flannel Company. I've got a few of them. That's putting it mildly. And it's become a problem. I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily a problem, but it's a problem for someone. No, it is a problem. This is how my brain works. But it's a problem when it comes to the space, because I live in a van. It's a tiny home. I latched onto them because I liked the company. I liked the shirts that they put out. They've got a fantastic marketing team that knows just how to get you. But that can apply to anything. And I've always sort of had this part of my personality my entire life, right? Like before I was living in a van, it was movies. I would collect movies. I had thousands upon thousands of movies, walls of movies in my old sticks and bricks. So much I had to I ended up like selling them at like not pawn shops, but like I sold my collection of movies, I think 2 or 3 times over, right? And now here, I did the same thing with video games. Now we live in 2023 where you can still do that and it doesn't take up any space because it's all digital, but I don't even have time for that anymore. So that's kind of stopped. Obviously, it's a part of my personality. And when I discovered Dixon, sort of filled that hole, if you know what I mean. It's just, yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's just too much. So again, like I've done in the past, I will most likely be doing a giveaway on a future live stream because I think it's better to just sort of pay it forward and make it fun for my subscribers and my viewers, and other stuff that I don't feel like doing trivia for and then mailing out and whatnot. I will end up probably just donating to a clothing donation. There's bins all over the city like that, and I just have to like try a little harder going forward to not be so easily swayed and think I can fit all of this stuff into my tiny home on wheels. And really, I'm not even talking about flannels so much right now because the majority of my flannels are in my storage unit. Ridiculous. I went through and took out a bunch of like t-shirts and stuff yesterday because I've got these 3 cupboards that I built, right? When I was doing my build, I got hanging cupboards. I'm very proud of these cupboards. I love that they worked out well. And the doors are on hinges and all that stuff, and it opens up quite nicely. That one's nice because I went through it yesterday. But this one's a little bit more of a disaster, right? And you might be thinking, because some people already said this to me, well, what's the big deal? They're all in the cupboard. Just close the cupboard and no problem. And that's right. And then you don't see the mess out here in the house. But the problem comes when you go to get a shirt and you can't take one out without them all sort of dominoing upon themselves. That's frustrating. That's annoying. I've also gotten to the point where I don't need that many clothes. The whole idea of van life, well, not the whole idea, but one aspect of van life is a little bit more of a minimalistic approach to living, right? And ever since I started purchasing flannels and clothes and everything else, it's sort of flown in the face of that philosophy, and it's bothered me. Obviously, not enough for me to do anything about it or stop, but it always was in the back of my mind. That's just kind of how I process stuff when it comes to silly things like this. I 100% don't need them all. It's just like a collector mentality, I think, more than anything. But that is why I now have this giant bin for now, because I just want it out of my house. I want the space back, and I would love it if I could just get my clothing needs to like my socks and my underwear, a couple pairs of shorts, a couple pairs of pants, and then like 2 flannels, 5 shirts, a couple bamboos, and a party shirt. Like, and that even saying that sounds like too much, right? is hard because my dad mentality kicks into gear, and it's like, I've got extra clothes for my daughter because you never know when there might be an accident or she spills something or you get stuck in some crummy weather. Same thing sort of applies to me. I'm not exactly the tidiest person. I spill stuff all the time. Case in point, well, it wasn't me this morning, it was my fat cat, but still, that's the kind of the mentality I need to break. I've learned over the course of almost 2 years in my van that the majority of the time I spend is in a major city where I have very easy access to laundromats, other means of washing clothes or buying clothes in a pinch if I need to. So having this overstock of stuff has really become more of a burden than anything else. So I've got a bunch of t-shirts here. We're going to start with these. These were shirts that were in the farthest cupboard back here that I haven't pulled out. Honestly, I haven't worn them since the last time I organized that cupboard, which was probably at the beginning of the summer. So it's like, I clearly don't need all of these. Some of them I like. Some of them have nostalgia in terms of my channel. Like if you've been around since the beginning or gone back and watched the episode where I got my Spread Positivity t-shirt, I have not worn this in forever. But it's like, I don't want to get rid of it either because of nostalgia. Same with my St. Patty's Day Dixon that I bought with the clover on it. But if that's a shirt that I only wear on March, 17th? It probably doesn't need to be in the van full time. There's a double-edged sword here with this whole thing as well. And that is the frustration of the storage unit. And I know a lot of people that live in vans or vehicles or whatever, they have storage units, and that's fine. It's just part of the gig. And I completely see the benefit of it. Obviously, I'm going to be taking this bin, once it's full, over to the storage unit and dropping it off there, just so it's sort of out of my hair within the van. But for me, that even flies in the face because they're then even more locked down to a centralized location. I argue with myself that it's fine, don't worry about it, because I already am here because of my daughter, right? But it's an expense that is there every month, and it's just will always be a little frustrating for me to know that I have this stuff sitting in a square that I don't really need. And if I don't need it on the daily, I often question, why do I have it? I mean, another facet to this clothing thing is I am a dad. I adore being a father. And I like having little matching shirts with my kiddo. Sometimes, not all the time. Don't be obnoxious, you know what I mean? So obviously those shirts that we double up on, I like to keep on hand, but I even went a little too ham with her, and she has far more Dixon flannels, I would say, than probably any other child will, at least in Calgary. I cannot speak for anywhere else, but again, she doesn't need them. It's one of those balancing acts of being a single parent where the child just goes back and forth between mom and dad. She's always wearing clothes. We don't pass her back and forth in the buff, you know? So it's so rare that I need to have 8 bloody outfits for her. Again, cutting down on stuff, a solid 2 or 3 outfits, seasonally appropriate, would be more than enough. So we're entering into fall, obviously. I'm going to want a few more flannels in the van than the bamboos, because these are quite thin. But yeah, these will be shirts that I'm going to have to give away. Like, this has become a problem. Like, and I don't mind admitting it. I knew it when it was happening. I'm not ignorant to that fact. But I'm going to keep a couple just because you never know when the weather might be nice. We're going to keep the absinthe. It's quite lovely. And there's a purple one that I have, the Purple Heart. My daughter also has this one, so I'll be keeping that one on hand. But like, hello, this is just silly. And like I said, we will be doing a giveaway, and there's ones that I know I will be giving away. Like, that is definitely one I will give away. And where do the other ones go? This will probably be one. And it's funny because it's like, if you're just going to give them away, why'd you buy them in the first place? And the answer to that question is, I don't want to hear it. Shush. It's just, the first step to getting over a problem is admitting you have a problem. I'm my own worst enemy, and I'm very self-aware and not ignorant to these facts. The truth of the matter is, if I really had 100% conviction for this ideology of wanting to reduce everything, I wouldn't have bought in this bin to put these shirts in. And I would have just grabbed a bag, thrown the ones I don't want in a bag, and donated them and been done with it. But, again, for some reason, I got this weird materialistic connection to these things, and I don't quite want to make that decision right now. So that's why we're doing it. But that's the weird-ass struggle when you put stock and value in weird shit. Eh? Bloody thing's almost full as it is. It's ridiculous. But we're starting to look a little bit better. So I got t-shirts back here and I got some party shirts here. I'm not going to be keeping all these. These are just as breezy and light as the stinking bamboos. So most of them will be going into storage as well. I will keep a couple favorites out. I'm going to try to keep it at 2, Matthew. I'm already seeing 3 I want to keep. It is what it is. All right. Well, this whole epic saga of having way too much stuff is going to have to be put on pause. I just realized what time it is. My buddy Mike texted me this morning, asked if I wanted to go have brunch with him and Amber. So I need to get my butt on the road. I need to also, before I do that, get my vitamins and we'll take them with breakfast. Glucosamine looks like a bloody horse tranquilizer. All right, so we got those. We'll take that with breakfast, brunch, whatever have you. Climb back up here very carefully. Yikes, my pain today is being very kind to me, which is a weird statement in and of itself. But I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just going to say, thanks for the break, universe. Wouldn't it have been funny if Lucky didn't start right there? Get some food. Don't forget, it's a cloudy day. Let's turn on that DC to DC charger and get our house batteries charged up whilst we drive. And for those that may be wondering, no, Lucky has not made it to that garage yet. That appointment is still, whilst I'm filming this, next week. Gas tank is sitting just over a quarter of a tank, depending on how or what I get up to this weekend. It's Friday. I may have to put a little bit of gas in here. Try that again from the top. I may have to put a little gas in her. But that sounds like a future Matthew problem. We've got more than enough to just get us where we need to go, which is, of course, Benny's Breakfast Bar. Hey, you so excited for Benny's Breakfast Bar? Like, why would I be excited? They don't have cat food there. And this is bullshit. Oh, I'm a horrible human being. We said 10:30. This is unacceptable, Matthew. Get your poop in a group, sir. Betty's waits for no man. I bet you these two don't even know that they parked that close to each other. Although I think Mike was here first. Now, if I ever wanted to get a camper, that kind of truck would carry it no problem. That was a weird order. Seatbelt, then put it in park. All right, you, hold down the fort, be super cute. I'm gonna go put some food in my face hole. Hey!
Oh man, I seen you in Walmart a little while ago, my son and I.
Just filming. Mike's already in there. Oh, we just met Leonard. And his son didn't come out, but his son's got a nice red whip.
And it says happy time on the front.
It says happy time?
I think there's Japanese letters.
Why doesn't your van say happy time? Hungry?
Yeah.
It's Friday and the food is delicious. That's why it's busy.
Sure.
Fish? It's just a little busy. That's good for business. All right, Miss Penny, we had some good food. One person's leaving, the other person's leaving, and this person's got to schlep some shit over to the storage unit. So that's that plan. That place is delicious, always. Pierogi poutine. Mwah! So good. It's peace out, dude. Nobody does that. Hey, Regina started up, no problem. All right. As did Lucky. Okay. A storage unit. A tally freaking ho. Ain't it always the way? I just realized, yeah, I went for breakfast and I kind of lost track of what I was doing. I'm not actually done filling that box yet. So I don't want to go into my storage unit. Like, I don't want to go through the gates and take up room in there. And be that guy. So, here comes a Ford. Don't get T-boned by a found on the road dead. Or a Cadillac. What is happening? Why is this road so busy? There's people everywhere. It's like I'm in a city or something. You probably needed that, sir. Ah, never mind. It's on the road. Anyways, I'm going to pull over here and finish that before I pull inside, so I'm not being a douche canoe. This looks pretty good. All right. All right, Miss Penny. I'm going to go put some more stuff into our new box. How exciting. All right. I gotta say, I'm a little excited to get stuff out. I'm a little disappointed that it's not going away forever, but all things in good time, all good things in good time. Shit'll get done eventually. Okay. So, these party shirts are definitely summery. These ones I like. These ones I have way more of an affinity to than my bamboos. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking my bamboos. And I guess I should probably say, this is not a sponsorship video. Dixon does not sponsor me. I am a fan by my own free will. But anyways, yeah, these party shirts are way more summery than the bamboos, which means we don't really need them as the weather continues to dip. That being said, I still have a few camping trips left that might end up with nice weather. So we're gonna keep a couple of these bad boys out. See, again, like this is a perfect example. My bang one that my little girl has. Where is hers? Oh, it's in our bag. Our go bag, which is under the bed. But you gotta keep the Sex Panther because it's just gorgeous. The reason I have an affinity towards these more so than the bamboos is because even before van life, I loved a nice loud Hawaiian shirt. I think I've mentioned it on the channel before. But before I lost my job due to the big P, I was a school photographer. Actually, when I lost my job, I was working in yearbooks. But before that, I was a school photographer and I used to do group photos. So like the classrooms, you know, individual grades and whatnot, they'd come in and get their whole group photo taken as a group. I think I've had too much coffee this morning. Anyway, group photographer. You can imagine it was probably very easy for me because of the whole, you know, big personality that I have. I like being loud, I like drawing attention, and that came in very handy when doing that job. And I found that it was a great time to break out all of my colorful Hawaiian shirts. Even in the middle of winter, I would bring them in my bag and take my jacket off, throw the Hawaiian shirt on. And the nice bright ones are just a way of drawing kids' attention and keeping them looking at you, focus on you, so you can get all those nice smiles from the rambunctious youths. Now, one nice thing about putting shirts like this and stuff in storage, if I don't get around to, like, you know, donating all of them or getting rid of them this year, it is sort of nice once next season rolls around to open it up and be like, oh yeah, that one. Okay, so we got those, that in here as well. Anything else? I got this whole other cupboard over here. My goodness. Well, there's Brooklyn's bang shirt. Not in our go bag. I mean, okay, I guess at the end of the day, there is a bit of a benefit to having the storage unit. You'll probably end up getting a smaller one, in the sense of having seasonal clothes. I feel like that still kind of flies in the face of living in a van and living in a small space. If everything was like perfect and I was on the ball and I didn't have as much clothing as I do have, it would be much better to just, you know, have the clothes I use on the daily in these cupboards and then put my seasonal change, like if it's winter, put the summer, if it's summer, put the winter in the wheel well box down here. Like this thing has stuff in it, it's got clothes in it, because of course it does, but that would be better. Since life is not like that right now, it's still beneficial to be able to take the more summery clothes, put them in a bin and throw them into the storage unit. That's looking at it glass half full. And hey, there's a view I have not seen in a very long time. I've got two sections of these hanging cupboards completely empty right now. Yes, there are things I could put in here, like the 120, which is one of my favorite flannels. And it would look like that. Well, that's not very good. Move it over here so it's not. Hi, it's nice to see them empty. course, it's unrealistic to assume they're going to stay like this, but I've also got like, I've never had a spot really for towels. I've got my Dixon towel and I've got the tool towel, the snap-on tool towel that Vern sent. I think it'd be nice to be able to put towels up here, which again is a little bit of a double-edged sword for me because we're coming into winter. Do I really need towels in the van? I guess the better point is, do I really need large towels in the van? I have small hand towels here that Sharon sent still. These are what they're called washcloths, but towels by any other name. The question is, do I need large towels in the van, or is that more of a summer thing? If I put these towels up here now, will they see the light of day before next summer? I am going on camping trips. You never bloody know. And I guess you can get caught in the rain. All right, one of the towels can stay. It's like Sophie's choice. Sacrifices must be made. All right, so here's the situation as it is now. We've got some flannels over here. Nice room. We got the towel, an extra pair of shorts because I am currently wearing a pair. And these will obviously end up in storage once the weather completely shifts from being warm. We got a couple bamboos, a couple party shirts, plus the one I have on. And then over here, we've got our t-shirts. This is probably still too many t-shirts. Oh yeah, and 2 pairs of pants. Like, I should be able to survive off of that. But only time will tell. Time to schlep this into the storage unit, not the hand towels. Yikes. Oh, one more pair of Dixon board shorts. You don't need them. Let it go. Just let it go. I also have my Faulty Towers towel that Jackie gave me, which I like to keep in Lucky, but put it up on my bar here and it got a little rusty, but that's okay. I like to have this sort of hanging out in the background. Maybe I should clean that. There we go. I make jokes because I think you need to be able to laugh at yourself and make light of certain things. Otherwise, you could drive yourself a little bit crazy time to time. But it is a serious thing that I don't want to have all of this stuff. I'm not screaming for help or anything like that. I'm just trying to take an active role in the solution to a silly problem at the end of the day, but one that I probably shouldn't have anyway. So it is what it is, as a wise man once said. All right, let's get this box of clothes into storage and realistically make it a future Matthew problem. Yes, the irony is not lost on me, if it is irony that I'm talking about problem solving, and all I'm doing is pushing a problem off till later, but you gotta start somewhere. Ooh, there's already people here. I need to go in that door too, it's fine. You have to go, you go there and you turn a U and come back this way. Okay. Move your poop bucket out of the way. Bend your stool. Grab your bin. Here we go. Party shirts and bamboos. Me. here is my shame. The next atrocity to deal with. All right, well, that's a little bit better for now. I do keep this thing for an extended period of time. I'm gonna have to get a shelving unit, put it up there, make it a little bit more organized. There's other stuff in here, and I get it. I was speaking about stuff that, you know, makes sense, like seasonal changeover stuff. I also have like a whole bag of like spare diesel heater parts, extra exhaust pipe for said diesel heater. I've got my jerry cans for my diesel, which I don't really need yet. I will need when the snow blows. Obviously, we don't want to talk about this thing yet, but we'll need him sooner rather than later. This is Vanlife Plus's pile of shame. Future Matthew problem, but not that far in the future. Plus I gotta get this box out of here. There's a whole bunch of recycling to be had. This was the box for the extra EcoFlow battery that they sent me, and we never resolved anything. The battery's now in there, but I don't need the box. I want to put my mat back in Lucky. Plus I got my moisture vacuum. All right. I will be back. Everybody just behave themselves. Yeah, it's funny to think about. When I started my van life, I was super excited by the idea of cutting back on getting rid of stuff, right? Because I was the kind of guy that had a lot of stuff. And I was talking big back then about like, yeah, I purged everything from my life, and it feels so good. And it does, it absolutely does. But I can't sit here today and say, yeah, I followed that to a T, because here we are, right? I guess it's just kind of what makes us humans. Not everybody can stick to those rules, not even me. I still believe it. I still want it. I just, sort of lost my way when it came to materialistic things. And I'm not poo-pooing it. It's not like it's the be-all, end-all of the world and you're a terrible human being if you do put a little bit more value in your material things and your collections of whatnot. Some of us absolutely love that thing. All I'm saying is it's not really conducive when you live in a van. Unless it's pins. Pins are tiny. Take up very little space. I don't know. And I still can't bring myself to just, get rid of it, right? Because I'm a silly neener head that way. Back up. Anyway. Now I've got this obnoxiously large cardboard box to get rid of, so I'm hoping that the recycling bins over by the real Canadian superstore are free and clear. Schlep that out of our life. Bye-bye! That's what happens when you've got your selfie stick extended as far as it can go, and it's not very balanced. Right. And of course, another whole separate issue with this having too much stuff is the Thule up there, the rooftop storage bin. Like, it's got some essentials in it that I would like to always have on me for sure, like camping chairs and whatnot, but I've also just started to throw stuff in there, and even it's out of control now, as that could have been solved by having a bigger Thule unit, but this is the one that I found on Marketplace, and it's the one that works. So again, I'm going to get up there and purge, but that's not today. Welcome back to Lucky Bear Rug Mat. Nailed it. What? I know. We have a lot of Dixons. And I forgot I had some in the laundry bag, so now there's 2 more long sleeve bamboos up there. And there were 2 other flannels as well, but that's just, that's the way it is. You know what's really silly is like, there's no way that you're gonna wear all of this stuff in a week. And that's really all you need when it really comes down to it. But you know what? This is just the first step on the path to recovery. We'll get there eventually. I guess the whole point of doing this was just to show that I, like many other people, have unhealthy obsessions when it comes to certain things. And admitting you have that problem is step 1. So maybe we're on step 2. We started moving shit the f out, even if it was just into the storage unit. Okay. Keys, check. Glasses, check. Putty tat in my seat, check. Penny, am I gonna have to pick you up, or are you gonna have to move on your own? What's it gonna be? Excuse me. Can you go outside? Come on. I gotta drive. Thank you. Good girl, good girl. So, I mean, it's obviously majority my fault, right? Like I've been talking about this entire video. You get, if you have an obsessive personality or a collecting mentality, it's easy to fall into those traps. But I'm going to schlep off a little bit of onus onto Dixon and say they need to stop designing such awesome shirts. Like seriously, they have a flannel that they made in honor of 7-Eleven.